Early morning light slips quietly into the bathroom. Clara stands before the mirror, her back to us, frozen as her fingers hover near a small yellow note taped to the glass. The handwriting is neat, careful, unfamiliar. The kettle will boil over. In the mirror, her reflection frowns. Her toothbrush hangs mid-air, toothpaste slowly dripping as confusion pushes through the last traces of sleep. She walks into the kitchen. Steam curls gently from the kettle on the stove, thin and silent, like a breath she didn't know the room was holding. Clara steps closer, lifts the lid, peers inside. The kettle rattles violently. Foam erupts from the spout, hissing and spilling across the stovetop. She stumbles back, arms raised, shock flashing across her face as panic strikes. The yellow note slips from her fingers, drifting downward, landing softly on the kitchen floor. That night, warm light fills the dining room. Clara leans forward at the table, explaining everything. Ben twirls pasta around his fork, dismissing it with a smirk, brushing off her fear as coincidence. She questions him urgently. How could someone enter her apartment without her knowing? Ben shrugs. Maybe she pranked herself. Maybe she forgot. Clara forces a laugh. Her mouth smiles, but her eyes don't. An ease settles quietly inside her chest. Morning again. Clara stands at the counter, staring down at a second note. You will drop your mug at 9:40 a.m. A digital clock glows, 9:33 a.m. Sweat beads on her palm as she grips the counter, eyes locked onto the paper. At 9:39, she stands rigid, knuckles white, bracing herself. Her phone vibrates. She flinches. Her elbow strikes the mug. It shatters across the tile floor, ceramic shards scattered like broken time. That evening, Clara holds both notes out to Ben, her hands trembling. He studies them closely now, doubt replacing his confidence. She whispers her fear. Someone is watching her. Later, Ben kneels by the door, installing extra locks, tearing through the apartment searching for hidden cameras. He finds nothing. On the fifth night, Clara stands beside her bed. A note rests on her pillow. Ben will die at 3:10 a.m. Terror floods her body. The paper falls from her fingers as her lungs forget how to work. She begs Ben not to stay. Her voice cracks. He tries to stay calm, but fear tightens around his eyes. He checks the clock, hesitates, finally nods. At the door, he hugs her tightly. I'll call you at 3:11, he promises. Night stretches endlessly. Clara sits on the couch, staring at the ticking clock. At 3:09, her thumb presses Ben's contact. At 3:10, the call drops. Outside, a distant siren cuts through the silence. At 3:17, her phone rings. It's not Ben. Days pass. Clara stops sleeping in her bed. She avoids anything handwritten. On the 8th day, a new note waits, taped to the front door. You will burn this. She laughs weakly, then sobs. That night, she stands over the sink, lighter in one hand, note in the other. Her fingers shake as she sets it on fire. The paper burns, curling into ash. As it collapses, another note appears beneath untouched. She reaches in, blood running cold. Tomorrow you will read the second note. She collapses onto the kitchen floor, clutching it to her chest. Morning, a soft scratching sound comes from her bedroom door. Clara lies frozen under the blanket, listening to paper sliding across wood. She forces herself up, opens the door. The note lies in the hallway. She kicks it under a console table and refuses to look. That evening, the lights flicker once. Her phone buzzes. You already know what it says. She deletes it. Another message arrives. You wrote it. Clara covers her ears, crying, denying reality itself. At 12:01 a.m., scratching returns, this time from inside the apartment. She stares down the dark hallway and whispers Ben's name. The sound pauses, then moves closer. She backs into the living room, collapses on the couch. The note slides into view. She squeezes her eyes shut. Her phone buzzes a final time. If you don't read it, it will still happen. Sobbing, Clara picks up the paper. Clara, tomorrow at 3:10 a.m., you will die. Her scream shatters the silence. The clock reads 3:09 a.m. The room goes dark, and somewhere in the black, paper begins to move again.